We're live. We're back.
And we're better.
Jeez. All right, what is this? I don't even know what episode we're on. Episode 29.
Episode 29.
29.
Yeah.
Okay, we're catching up. We're catching up to the big 30. I feel like 30 is
Dirty 30.
I feel like that's just the anxious number. Do you not think when you
Yeah,
get to
100%.
30 is just like, oh, just a bit worry.
I mean, I've got 5 years left till 30.
Now it's gonna creep up on you. I'm telling you. But I'm scared to get to 25.
Why?
No, I'll tell you the age where you go from young to old. Yeah.
Go on.
27. 27 is the age where that's it. Like, you're old. You're officially old.
Nah, 25 is like...
25 is cool.
25 is like year 5 or you can't be using your I'm young excuse anymore.
No. I think you're at the peak.
Who, me?
25 is like, right, you can get away with certain things.
Nah, man. What's
But-
that lady doing, bruv? She's looking at
She
me
looks mad
mad.
interested.
Nah, I'm confused, guys. Like, she's just
She's
swaying.
just standing there staring.
Okay.
Wow.
This area is weird, man.
Yeah, man. I love this area.
Yeah, me too.
Home, innit? It's just so homey. It's just so nice to be in familiar territories.
Or whatever.
In
These ain't your
compared-
ends, bruv.
Fam. I need to get
How's
this, I need
Gideon
to get
Park?
something
Give
off my
us a-
chest, you know.
Give us an update.
No, yeah, I'm gonna give you an update. I've been
Alright.
wanting to. I wrote on my notes specifically what I was gonna say.
Bruh.
So my neighbours, my lovely, kind,
He
open,
winked.
armed, warm-hearted neighbours,
Yeah.
they decided to call the police on us.
What? Already?
Fam,
What did you guys do?
it's only
too
been a
much
week,
shouting. You guys shout too
2
much.
weeks. No, it's not
What
even
is
that.
it then?
So you'll know that there's a bit of works going on in my
Got a
house.
text
Yeah.
message from a girl.
Who?
You. Look at him getting nervous.
No, I don't get messages. Probably like Barclays or something. Oh shit.
What even dropped the phone? Wow.
Them
Go on, carry on.
Put that on pause. Right, so my house it's under some construction, yeah, bit of work. So, and we're in between, like we're in the middle, innit? So there's houses on either side, and the builders are loud, as they would be because they're builders. So and listen, yeah, I did my part, yeah. I had I don't know what the word is, but had the courtesy to knock on their door,
Yeah.
introduce myself.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, my name is so and so. I am your neighbour.
Mm-hmm.
We have just moved in, and there will be some building works happening. So I thought I would let you know
Yeah.
that it's going to be a little bit loud.
Okay. For how long did you Did you give them a notice?
No, I didn't give them
As
a
in,
notice
like, how long it will be?
specifically. I mean,
Do you know how long it will be?
yeah, I told them it's going to be a while. I
What's
did
a
tell them
while?
it's going to be a
6
while.
months, 2 months.
Something like that, yeah.
Right. What
So-
are you guys building, fam?
It's going to be a palace. Joking.
In
No.
Gideon Park. Get out of it.
You know them ones there, guys. And then a week after it's complete, like everything's robbed. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway,
Absolutely.
so yeah,
Spray
so
painted.
they're all aware of this, yeah. And basically, my neighbor on the right hand side is a 97-year-old lady, and she's basically her daughters look after her. So I think she's got 2 daughters. They both live in Chelmsford. So I think the key word is Chelmsford. So you should, just by mentioning Chelmsford, you should have a profile in your head of what these 2 daughters are like, or what they would be like.
Do you want to describe it?
I don't know.
Because in my mind, I can just see people that look like they shop from like charity shops.
Chelmsford. I feel like Chelmsford is a bit like.
It's
I don't want to put myself into trouble, innit? I feel like I'm gonna
Is
get myself
it
into trouble.
neglected? As in, like, you go to certain areas, you're like, rah.
No,
Your
Chelmsford,
JD
yeah,
still look like JJB.
bruv. Anywhere outside of the M25 is just mad weird. Like, as soon as you leave London, you just feel like you're in a different country altogether.
It's like the Primark is like the old Primark. It's not. It's
yeah,
not blue.
yeah. It's that, yeah,
it's
but
grey.
more so like people-wise, everyone is just white. Everyone's basically close-knit community, but it's very undiverse.
Okay.
So it's one of them ones, basically.
Okay.
That's where
So
I'm
you
going.
guys
with this.
really do stick out.
Yeah.
in
No,
your
I mean,
area.
Romford is calm because we're next to Ilford, and Ilford is like populated by Pakistanis. And Romford now is becoming more and more Asian. I feel like more and more people are moving there, Asian people. And someone was telling me about the white plight or the white flight.
All right.
I think it was a white plight. Is it plight?
Oh no, I've never
Where
heard
white
of
people
it.
basically start to move out because they see more coloured people coming
Okay.
in.
Okay.
So they're selling their houses, they're moving out because everything's becoming a little bit more diverse.
Okay.
So anyway, so a
They've got
97-year-old
more
lady lives
seasoning
next
in
to
their
us.
curries now. Their
Um,
curry takeaway.
yeah, but I don't understand why people complain about that. Because these times on a Friday and Saturday night, you lot are ordering from like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna eat after a night out? When
Yeah.
you're slumped.
Either a kebab, a curry,
Or McD's.
straight up.
But you can't eat. You know, McD's is not always gonna be
Trust me.
open or
Yeah.
everywhere. Anyways.
So, anyways,
go.
yeah. So
Back to
97-year-old lady,
your
she's
your
got 2 daughters, yeah?
experience. Okay.
she's got 2 daughters now. One of the daughters is calm. She's nice. The other one is a bit of a bitch. You can tell. She's just a bit,
Passive aggressive.
passive aggressive, yeah.
Mm.
She's like in her 60s or whatever, I think 50s. And the neighbors on our left-hand side is a nice nuclear family, mum, dad, 3 young children. Again, white, I would say borderline middle class, working class family. Very nice. Really nice. And so the building works have been happening for about a couple of weeks now. And the other day, our neighbor decided to call the police on us because one of the builders was supposedly throwing stuff at their dog. Fam.
What?
I mean, I don't know what kind of builder would think to pick something up and throw it at a dog.
But the question is, what did they throw?
I don't know, it was like material or something, like just shit that's been
What?
taken off the building.
So wait, okay, let me just understand what the situation is. So I'm guessing your garden
Mm.
is near their garden, and so their dog is obviously in their garden, and so the builder thought it was funny to start throwing stuff at the dog.
Yeah, so apparently the builder got pissed off at the dog and started throwing shit at the dog.
What,
okay.
cement?
Fam, I don't know, like I can't process it in my mind. I can't actually visualize a builder throwing shit at a
But
dog.
what did they say? What he was throwing?
Nah, didn't get that much info. My brother relayed this story to me, and he's really bad at relaying stories.
Okay.
So I tried to extrapolate as much as possible.
Okay.
And then, so they told the police that the builders were throwing shit at the dogs and that the outside of our house was really, really messy and cluttered,
Yeah.
as it would be because
There's builders.
there's building going on. And they were complaining about other stuff like too noisy and that supposedly we had rented out part of our house. I don't know where
That's
they
not-
got that story
That's
from.
not their business.
So,
It's none of your business.
fam,
None of
I just
your
don't
business.
understand
It's none of
why
yours.
people want to get so far deep up my asshole. Like, why do you want to know what is like going on inside my life?
What do you mean they're renting out? What
Like,
does that even mean?
Why do you care? So anyway, the police, they then come over to our house. My brother's walking into the house from gym, and no one else is at home because everyone
What
leaves the
time
house
was this?
pretty early. This was around
Ah.
midday. So he's come back home, and the police see him and like, do you live here? He said,
Hello,
yes.
sir. Do you live here?
Yeah, all of that shit. And then he was like, yes. And he's like, yeah, so we've been getting a complaint, blah, 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 blah. And, bro, the first thing that came into my mind is, I swear, like, a week ago or whatever, a 17-year-old girl got stabbed, like, across the road, like,
Yeah.
just up the road.
Mm-hmm.
This, like, do you not have anything better to do other than come to my
100%.
house and tell me that my front yard is cluttered? What?
I mean, I'm sure they could have written a letter.
yeah.
I know that have people that volunteer for the Metropolitan
Yeah,
Police
yeah.
and they do admin work for free.
Trust me, man.
So I'm sure they can
It's a
tell
joke.
those people to write a letter.
Bruv, I'm so done. Like, I can't be bothered with my neighbours anymore.
So did you speak to her then
No,
to address it?
I don't care about her.
No,
Bruv,
I
I've got
think you
nothing
should
to say to
address
her.
it.
No, I'm
Making
done, man.
complaints to the police.
Honestly, if it was me in front of the police, I would have been like, first of all, it's a great police time that you're
yeah.
giving. Do you know what I mean? Like, could you not be doing anything else? Secondly, if she wants to take it up with anyone, tell her to
Contact
take
the
me to court.
council.
Take me to court, fam.
No,
I'm here.
No, she can go to the council or she can write you a formal letter.
Yeah, complain. Go to the council, and if you want to take it further, take me to court. I'll see you in court.
Or why don't she just come up to the house and just speak to you?
If it's so much of an issue, like, I just don't understand what goes through people's heads.
Do you think the 97-year-old is vulnerable?
She's partially deaf.
Okay.
So they've
how
told
does she
us.
even hear the noises?
No, the daughter has told us that we shouldn't communicate with her because
Okay.
she's partially deaf. So
Okay.
anything that we want to say to her
Yeah.
or her husband needs to go through the daughters.
Okay, that's fine.
Fair enough.
So why are they complaining about noise when
Fuck.
she's half deaf?
Bruv, I don't know. But
But what time do you guys start the building work?
7:30.
Raw, that's
7:30,
early.
8 o'clock. That's mad early. And I've been in the house for like half an hour at the most before I need to leave to go off to work. But even for me, the noise does get to me a little bit.
7:30.
Yeah, it's quite
You
loud.
man are taking a fucking piss,
Trust me,
bro.
man.
7:30.
Listen, yeah.
Is the sun even out?
Listen, as long as the work is going on inside my four walls, yeah, that's my business, innit?
No, you
Like,
wanna
sit
take
back
a
down.
Piss. Nah, no.
And do you know what? I found out the other day.
7:30.
The funny thing is, you know the house that we're living in now, it belonged to the daughters next door. So the daughters that are looking after the mum, they used to live in that house. So I think
What?
they're a little bit pissed, innit? That a bunch of
Wait, so
Packies.
I wonder what they. Why they sold it? Wait, did you guys buy it off them?
No, we didn't buy. So we didn't buy it off them. They used to live in that property, and then afterwards, an Indian landlord bought the property and then rented it out.
Okay.
So he divided the house into like 4 sections.
Okay.
And then he just basically subletted it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you got 4 rooms, 4 different
Yeah.
groups of people. He built like 3 different bathrooms. It was
Is
mad
that how
weird.
big your house is?
It's not that big, you know. I swear down. It's 4 bedrooms, yeah. But it's not that. There's 2 floors. There's a garden. It's not that big. But the room sizes are pretty average, like standard, I would say.
He's a hustler.
Fam, those rooms are tiny. I was thinking to myself when I went in there, like, how did people manage to live like in scatty little rooms? And the doors had like the bolts, you know, the proper.
Right.
Trust me.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry that you experienced that.
Yeah, I'm
and
sorry
I
as
feel
well.
like
I was expecting it anyway.
I
It's
mean,
only
the
a
only
matter of time.
advice I can give you is to go speak to them personally and actually address the
dead.
fact that you say to
I
them,
can't
we received your complaint from the
Yeah.
police and we apologise that you are distressed and we understand that the building work is starting at 7:30, but this is going to be the case for
a while
and you're just
Yeah.
gonna have to live with it.
A part of me
I'm
does want to
sorry.
do that, but then
No, you should. You gotta be the bigger person, man. She's
yeah, I hear you.
97 anyways.
Say that again.
She's 97, innit?
The lady's 97, but
Yeah.
her daughter's obviously. I just feel like there's mad racial tension. I don't want to be blunt and upfront.
That's fine,
But
but you
I
know,
just feel like
sometimes you
there's-
gotta address it. I definitely think that you
Mm.
guys should speak to them with your chest
Yeah,
because that's not cool. They can't be going to the police because they're gonna do it again.
and it just brings like a bad sort of reputation on us.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
not
area, like
nice.
police coming around, like
No, it's not even that. It's like you don't want to be walking into a house and then thinking, "Oh, police is gonna come." Does that make sense? That makes that
Anyways.
idea is a bit makes me
Yeah.
a bit uneasy.
it is. Yeah, it does. But it does.
Your
put-
poor brother.
I mean, he's not bothered. Like, I don't think any of us. I think, to be honest, yeah, the moment we walked into that house, I think we were expecting some sort of hostility at some period of time.
No, man,
It was just a matter of when.
That's bad.
Um,
That's bad. I
Yeah.
mean, no, you shouldn't be living like that.
What
You
can
guys
you do,
paid.
man?
You guys bought that house
Trust
with
me.
your,
shit happens, innit? Shit
no,
happens.
shit don't happen. Address it. I'm sorry, Stephanie.
I haven't even spoken to the lady, you know. I haven't met her daughters,
Really?
but I've spoken to my other neighbours. My other neighbours are calm.
I mean, that's great and everything, but you still need to address it.
Yeah.
And if anything, tell your other neighbours that this is what they're doing to you. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Form a little.
100%. Sometimes
defense
people need to be
mechanism.
embarrassed, you know.
Yeah, trust me.
And you
trust
need to
me.
get people to feel sorry for you too as well.
Nah, man. I don't know, man. I just find it all a bit. It's kind of over me. I'm kind of over it. I'm at
No,
a period
don't be
I'm
over
just
it.
mad over it.
I mean, we
Like, I
can't
get
just ignore these things, you know. And I think that's what we're gonna address today. I guess.
Yeah, man. So today is a little bit of a mellow
yeah,
kind of vibe.
we're just gonna talk about one topic.
Yeah.
So let's get straight to it.
Let's get straight into it. We're 15 minutes in. How's your week been, by the way? Have you had a productive, good, positive
I've been
week?
active, you know. I've been, you know, doing my what? That's a lie. I wasn't been doing my uni work.
Yeah.
I've been going to work, and I've just been like, just doing my work.
Very
you know,
good.
The boring shit. 9 to
Standard.
5.
Mm.
Yeah, and I've just been a bit tired.
I think we all have, to be honest.
I've been on autopilot mode. So
Yes.
I've just been working.
That's exactly what I've.
But I don't know where my days are going.
I've been on autopilot for like a month now. I need a break.
Yeah.
I just need to press that stop button
I
for
told
a good
you
few days.
what I did yesterday, didn't I?
Yeah,
I
you
literally
needed
went
it,
to
man.
my friend's
Honestly,
house
you needed that little
and I
relaxation period.
slept on her bed,
Mm.
and she got these big windows, and I just stared at the clouds, and the
Bro,
clouds were just moving, and I was like, right, I really don't look
how
at
I
the
would
sky.
love to do that. I would love to
Sometimes you
just
have
stop and
to.
just stare and just admire,
The sky.
the sky for a hot minute.
When do you actually do that?
No, I
This
don't
is
think
what my
anyone ever
female
does
friend
that.
was saying.
Mm.
Do you actually, as a Londoner, do you actually look at the sky and think?
I remember a couple of years ago, I did make a comment about how beautiful the sky was. This was during summertime,
Wow.
but this was like a couple of years ago.
Okay. Well,
Anyways.
that's how my week has been. But other than that, it's all good.
Good.
So let's hit it.
Let's hit it. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to discuss a quite sensitive topic, and we had a list of other topics to talk about. Our standard weekly entertainment, trending entertainment topics, and I decided to scrap it because I felt like this particular topic, issue, event.
Man said, we.
I decided I just wanted to dedicate this whole episode in talking, really trying to analyze this particular situation. And I think this will be good because it will help as a form of therapy to try and, as individuals, or I know for myself most definitely, try to get over it and just move forward with it. So what am I talking about? I am referring to the horrific attacks that happened in New Zealand a couple of days ago. This is where 50 people were brutally murdered, and the attacker live streamed this horrendous, onslaught. I don't know what you can call it. I have no
Terrorist
words.
attack.
I don't know. I actually have no words to
The
describe.
massacre.
It was. There's no words really to describe what happened, and I want to delve into this, and I really want to analyze sort of every sub part, if that makes sense.
I guess it's just like the layers to it.
Yeah, layering it. Yeah. Because there's a lot of sort of parts to this. It's not just an event. It goes a lot deeper than that, and I want to try and get into it. So let's get straight into it. And I want to start by saying, actually, that when we do these podcasts every single week, there are a lot of topics that we speak about, we comment about, if I'm being honest with you, that we're not really qualified to talk about.
100%.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say qualified. I would just say it's not like we're sitting there doing our research in depth.
It's like, So in other words, we have no right to make analytical comments or analysis on these certain things that happen. We do, but who are we to do it? Because we're not experts in that field, right? But I feel like today, I can say confidently that I am qualified to talk about what we're going to talk about. And I think we both are.
Yeah.
Because
because we're both Muslim, and this has affected our community.
Yes, and it has affected our community for a very, very long time.
This has affected us.
Yes, it has affected us.
Yeah.
It has affected our community. And this isn't something that is only affecting us from 2 days ago. This has affected us from, I would say, the very first day, the very first breath that I took when I came into this world. I honestly, that's how I would describe it. And I will go into more detail about my own experiences and whatnot. Okay, so let's talk about actually what happened. 2 days ago, a right-wing... what would you call him? White supremacist? Yeah, white supremacist. You didn't watch the video.
No, I didn't.
And I think a couple of days ago, I was really encouraging people to watch the video. I went on Instagram and I was like, because I was hearing a lot of people were saying, don't watch the video. I don't think it's a good idea to watch the video. You shouldn't be spreading it around because someone might get the same idea to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And my argument was, I think everyone should watch the video because until you watch what's happened, you will not fully realize the full scale of this type of incident and how serious it actually is. So I can say sitting down here today that I'm happy you didn't watch it.
Okay.
Because it fucked me up. Like, really, really badly. And I'm not one to be affected by watching these type of videos because I've watched everything. Like anything that
Yeah.
you can think of, I've been there. So I've got a very thick layer of skin when it comes to these kind of things.
Yeah.
I'm prone to letting
But,
these things affect
I
me.
mean, it's different when it's something that is close to your heart.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
So it's not the same as watching. I mean, let's say when was it Osama bin Laden when he was assassinated?
Yeah.
Saddam Hussein.
So that's it.
That's it.
Do you know what?
And I know.
Can I pause you there just
yeah.
1 second? It's so funny you should say that because just when I was talking about everything that I've watched, everything that I've seen,
Yeah.
that's the first thing that came into my head.
Okay.
His assassination.
Yeah, and how it was normalized, and
Yeah.
it was on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I remember I was very young, and I watched it,
Really young.
and yeah, people just ignored it after. I mean, we watched it. He was killed. Oh, I mean, he was hanged. Hung?
Yeah, hung.
Yeah. And yeah, we just moved on from it, and it was like one of those situations where this is what the Muslim community is dealing with, and that's that.
I remember.
And I feel like this is one of those situations as well.
When I watched that Saddam Hussein hanging, I couldn't sleep for months.
Yeah.
I was really scared, and I was quite young then. So after I watched that, it was like anything goes. I can, doesn't affect me anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I remember that period of time where like
Even when Gaddafi was killed, do you remember?
I don't really remember too tough, but I remember that. And I remember that period of time where it was like I think it was the Iraqi war and all this like outrage, and British media was going crazy, and they're always posting the stuff, and like the news was just going crazy. And me and my mum used to sit there and we used to watch it, and obviously my mum would have it on, and she used to sit there and cry because she was like, "Oh my God, these are my brothers and sisters." And I used to sleep, and I used to think about it before I'd go to sleep, and I would have not nightmares, but I would dream about it.
Yeah.
And how it could. Well, the way my mum used to express it as well, it wasn't. She was like, "Okay, these are our people."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wow, this can happen to me." And like now that I'm older, and I'm like living in the UK, and obviously these things are not really happening. The same kind of things are not really happening to us. But what's different to New Zealand than the UK, to be honest? And when I'm thinking about it, a lot of people that are part of the Muslim community, and a lot of my friends, we haven't really spoken about it.
Yeah.
Like we've just said, yeah, that's bad. Like God rest their souls, and that's just that. Like we've actually accepted the fact that this might happen to us, and that's just the way it is. And I'm like, whoa! Until you actually spoke about it yesterday, I was like, raw. I really actually just ignored this, and not in a way because I don't care. It's just like I have been taught, and I have taught myself to accept that this can happen to me one day, and that's just that. It can happen to anyone, and it hasn't happened, so I'm lucky.
Yeah, you are lucky, yeah, of course.
And that's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
It's funny you say that because when I first found out the news, so let me go through the timeline of how I found out. I woke up in the morning, scroll through my phone as you do, notifications and whatnot, and I see this notification that 49 people were shot, were killed in a mosque in New Zealand. First saw that, raised my eyebrows a little bit. I was like, oh, okay. Another tragic event. That's the first thing that came into my mind. I got ready for work and I set off, and I was in a car. I was sitting in the back seat because my dad goes to work at the same time as well. So I usually leave my car at my old house, and then I go to work with him, and then I get into this car here. So I was sat at the back of the car, and I was just scrolling through social media on Twitter, and soon it all unraveled. All the facts started to come through that he had live streamed this event.
8chan.
Yeah, so he live streamed it, and I don't know what happened, but somewhere in that sort of hour when I was traveling, it sort of hit me like, shit, this isn't your bog standard terrorist attack. This is being put up a notch. This is being sort of taken to the next level. And I put out a social media post. I put out a post, and I'm not the type to put out posts. Like I just don't do it anymore. I used to back in the days. Like I used to post loads. But now I've I don't feel like I need to. So this was the first time I put out a post, and I was just. Did you see my post?
Is it about the fact that you know, normally on Facebook people would change their pictures to pray for Paris or pray
So
for
this
blah
post,
blah blah.
can I read it to you?
Yeah, go on.
It's a long post, but I want to share this with everyone as well because I thought this was quite a good post, and I was quite proud of myself for coming up with this.
Okay.
So I posted this following status. Is it a status? That what they called it?
Is this on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Facebook, and I put it on Instagram as well. But this is what I said. I said I don't often, and this is relatively quite early on. So this is an hour after I found out the news.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said I don't often post on social media, but I find myself sitting here twiddling my thumbs for nearly 20 minutes, not knowing what to say. Allow me to just make one thing very clear to you all. If you have a problem with my religion, the colour of my skin, my cultural background, or what country my parents reside from, pick up a gun, point it at the middle of my forehead, and release the trigger. Because Muslims aren't humans. Muslims are barbaric people. Muslims are disgusting people. Muslims bring nothing more than destruction and corruption to the land. Muslims oppose the true way of life. Muslims look different. Muslims talk different. Muslims lack any form of social cohesion amongst the mainstream communities and the rest of it. Right? I don't even have words to describe this attack or how hurt I am right now. What's more difficult to come to terms is the fact that I wasn't even surprised or shocked to hear the news. This was only a matter of time, and unfortunately this won't be the last attack. From time to time, people tend to ask me what I identify myself as. My answer is simple. I identify myself as someone roaming the earth, someone who can't identify being either British or Bangladeshi, simply because cultural baggage and nationalism has destroyed any expectation I once had from society. They ask me why Muslims are running away to Syria or Iraq to fight with the enemy. I ask them this. Are you surprised? Why should they stay? What have you done to convince them that this is their home? What has society done to convince these people that they are good enough to partake in a wider community? What have we done as a collective to destroy cognitive dissonance amongst ignorant fools who act with their emotions rather than with their brains? This will never end until we stop othering Muslims and start challenging those who think it's acceptable to dehumanize a whole community because they follow a different way of life.
Wow.
That was very raw.
Yeah.
That was
I agree.
Straight. I mean, this was only like I said, an hour after I found out, and my mind started unraveling itself. It started, it was in thought process. I was really starting to question a lot of different things.
Like what?
I mean, there's at one point in here it says, and I wanna talk about this. I completely forgot.
That's fine. I mean, I guess where we can start is what we wanted to touch on, and just the fact that for those who don't know what had happened, maybe you can kind of explain.
Do you want to do that or shall I do it?
Yeah, let's do it. So this person is obviously a terrorist. They've written this 74-page manifesto. They've gone to the first mosque and, they've done these shootings. They've done this. Oh. They've killed a few people whilst they're praying, knowing that whilst they're in prayer, they can't defend themselves. And that is what was you going to say?
I was going to say, can I go down the timeline? Because I watched it.
Yeah.
So,
oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so this is what happens. He puts on the live stream. He's sitting in his car and he points the camera at himself. And then he says, okay, lads, make sure you subscribe to PewDiePie. So there's this little, it's not a statement. It's a thing. It's basically a thing that's going around. Like, subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like a joke.
Yeah.
So he said subscribe to PewDiePie, and it sort of just shows how lightly he's taking all this kind of thing. It's like a game to him.
Yeah.
So anyway, he points the camera on, and then he starts his car. In the background you can hear music playing, but it's like military music. And anyway, so he gets to the destination. He parks up. And the way he's driving, it seems very, very normal. He lets people cross the road. He lets other cars go ahead of him. Everything, it seems so normal. So normal. Like, this isn't someone who's driving erratically, trying to get to his destination so he can kill as many people as possible. He has planned this so well to the point where it's just another day. It's as if he's going to work. So anyway, he gets to the location. He parks up in some sort of alleyway. He opens the door. He goes to the boot and he sorts out his rifles. There's about 3 or 4 different rifles. All of them have patterns on them. You've seen the pictures, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Yes. So he picks it up.
Some weird stuff on there.
Yeah.
Just some crazy hate stuff.
Yeah. So he picks up the gun. He then walks around the corner. Bearing in mind he's on a pavement, he's on a main street.
Yeah.
People can see him with a gun, but everything is still very, very normalized. Everything's really, really normal. So he gets to he's walking towards the mosque, and on the left and right side of him are cars. Lots of cars parked up, because obviously it's Jummah, a lot of people have parked. So he's looking around.
So just for those who don't know what Jummah is, I just dropped my phone, so every Friday there's a particular prayer that Muslims pray. Around 1:30.
It replaces the midday prayer.
Yeah. So it happens every Friday, and clearly he knows that this has happened, and this is always happening. But yeah, continue.
So he's walking towards the mosque. He's having a look around, see whether he can see people. There is a woman that he walks past with his gun.
Okay.
He doesn't attack her. He's just walked past her. He stops at
is
the
she
entrance.
a Muslim woman or
it was hard to tell. The footage was quite grainy, but I would assume that she was. So he gets to the entrance. A few steps before the entrance, I should say, he stops. He gets his gun. He points. There's a man in front of him, and some people are saying that this man greeted him by saying, hello, brother.
Okay.
And his last words were brother, because as he said it, he said, welcome, brother. He said, welcome. The old man, 74 or something like that, he said, welcome, brother. The guy picks up his gun, aims it at the man, 2 shots, bang, bang. That guy is on the floor. And everything just explodes from there. Everyone hears the gunshots. Everyone's panic mode. He walks through the mosque. He sees someone crawling, because they've heard the gunshot and they've dropped, because they're in a shock. And I think this was a female. So she's shocked. She's on the floor. She's crawling. He points the gun at her and he releases another few shots. And then he continues. He continues to walk down the hallway. There's a room on the right-hand side. He doesn't go into the room. He peers into the room and he fires a few shots into the room. And then he continues to walk into the main prayer area bit. Now, I think he was a little bit early because there wasn't that many people. There were, I would say, 10, 15, maybe 20. But they weren't sort of spread out in different areas. You know, when you go to the mosque early, everyone's... you tend to find people normally sat on resting against the wall, either reading the Quran, waiting for the actual khutbah to start. But no one's really sitting in the central bit. So most people were crowded up against the wall, either on the right-hand side or the left-hand side. So he goes into the center and he starts firing shots left and right, left and right. And bearing in mind, these people are grouped up together. So you've got maybe 10 people on the right-hand side grouped up together. He's firing shots at them, multiple shots at them. He then turns to his left, fires plenty of shots at people, and then things seem to go quiet. You can hear the odd sort of noise, but it's more so in the distant. He pauses. He changes his magazine? Is that what they call it?
I don't know.
The bullet sort of. So he changes that. And then he goes back to the people that are already dead. He then starts to continually fire at them, despite the fact that they're already dead.
Did you watch this?
I watched this.
Oh my God.
He continued to fire at these people, and then, out of nowhere, someone lunges towards him. So someone was probably hiding in the corner, and they lunge towards him. This man who lunges towards him has just witnessed his son shot dead. His 21-year-old son has just been shot dead, and he's decided, I'm going to try and fight him, stop this guy. So the guy lunges towards him. The gunman, the terrorist, he sort of with his shoulder pushes the guy, overpowers him, shoots him, and that guy is now on the floor. And you can see that he's on the floor because he's looking down, and obviously the camera's on his head.
Oh my
so
God.
You're pretty much looking at everything from
he's using a GoPro.
A GoPro. So yes, and then he walks out of the mosque, and as he's walking out, you can see bodies on the floor, left, right, center, a few bleeding out, and a few just
like it's Call of Duty.
laying there. That's exactly what I was going to ask you. Have you played Call of Duty?
I mean, I've seen.
Have you seen the video play?
Yeah, I've seen my nephew, and I've tried to play it. And you just shoot as you go along because you don't.
That's
You're just
exactly
trying to
what it
complete
looked
the
like.
mission.
It was like a computer game. It was almost as if it was a live computer game. And it was almost as if it was fake. Like, I once questioned myself as I was watching this. Has this been faked? Because this can't be real. You can't do this. Like, this stuff like this, just you wouldn't ever imagine for something like this to happen for real life. Anyways, I continue. He's walked out of the mosque. He's looking left and right. He starts firing shots left and right, because he can probably see people in the distance. Now, this is the most shocking part. This is the part that really, I will never, ever forget this particular image in my head. He comes out of the mosque. He sees a lady. He shoots at her. The lady's on the ground. She's screaming for help. She's screaming. She's just been shot. She's screaming for help. He's looking around to see if there's anyone else. Once he's finished looking around, he walks over to the lady. He points the gun at her head. As she's screaming, he fires 2 shots in her head. Silence. She's been shot in the head. She's been silenced. And he gets in his car and then he runs her body over and then he continues to go to his second destination.
I'm shocked. I cannot believe you watched this. I can't believe this. This is what's...
As he's driving off...
This is what's out.
What's shocking more is the fact that he's saying, I didn't kill as many people as I would hoped. There were so many cars parked. It was crazy. Everything happened so fast. He's laughing, he's mocking, he's joking as he's on his way to his second destination. And as he's going to his second destination, he can hear ambulance and police driving the other way. And at this moment in time, he's driving like a maniac. I'm surprised that he didn't run anyone else over. But he was quite courteous to let some people cross the road.
He's not going to do that.
So that's what happened.
He only had one mission and one mission only.
Yeah. So I watched that. On that day, I managed to find the footage. Bearing in mind, before I watched that footage, I watched the aftermath. I don't know if did I show you the video?
No, I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? Okay. So the aftermath is basically the dead people in the mosque. And this is HD. So you can see pretty much everything. There is a son on the floor. His head has been blown out. His dad is cradling him. And his head is bouncing off the carpet because obviously when you're dead, your body weighs so much.
Yeah.
And you can see blood splattered on the wall and dead people. One guy, I feel like he is on the verge of dying. His eyes are open, but you can see blood on his chest. His top is completely wet from blood. So I watched this footage first and that fucked me up. And then afterwards, I watched the actual live stream. And that day, I was watching it and I just thought, wow.
Did you watch this on Friday or Saturday?
I watched this on Friday. I watched this after Jummah. Okay. So I came back, I was in the office and I was just scrolling on YouTube because I really wanted to watch this. Because I really wanted to get the severity of what had happened. Yeah. I really wanted to feel it. So I watched it and that day I was fine. I was completely fine. I got through that day. I went to work. I was okay. My mind was at ease. Not at ease. I was still very anxious, but I was okay. My sanity was there. The next day comes and this was yesterday and I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden my mind was just consumed constantly, every second. If I wasn't with a person, if I'm with someone, if I'm talking to someone, it's fine. You're not going to be thinking about certain things. Your mind is sort of preoccupied, right? But whenever I was by myself, I was constantly thinking about this. My mind was just questioning all the time. Why had this happened? What drives someone to do something like this? And yesterday evening, I think about 7, 8 o'clock, because, when I'm working in the evening, I'm by myself. And I just could not control my emotions. It got the best of me. I really had lost it. So I had a really good old cry.
That's good.
To myself, and I was just really, really distraught, really, really upset. And it was so weird because if you compare yesterday to the day before I was numb. I wasn't upset. I wasn't angry. I was numb.
It didn't kick in.
And the day after, I was absolutely destroyed. I could not believe. Especially when you hear the stories.
Do you know, I think what's worse as well is that on Friday, not that it's worse, but you also went to Friday prayer yourself. And not to be... My phone's always ringing and I'm doing a podcast, isn't it? And I think not to be rude.
Yeah.
Or not even rude. I don't want to
just say it as it is.
Yeah, that could have been you.
Yeah. It could have been me.
I don't really go to Friday prayer myself. But just the idea of actually being in the building, it's a house of God. It's where you worship. It's the only place that you feel safe. Like when you're feeling low, when you feel, stressed and you don't want to be at home, where do you think of? You think, I'm going to go to the mosque. And the fact that, for me, what I was thinking today, I was like, before I, came to see you, I was like, wait a minute. Do we now have to have security guards in mosques? Is that what it's come to?
Do you want me to be honest with you? Throughout the last few years, I have been, especially during Ramadan, when Ramadan comes by, I get very anxious.
Same.
When I go to the masjid, I get very, very scared. I have thoughts. During prayer, this is whilst I'm in prayer. Oh my God, there's so many people here. What if someone does something?
100%.
What if there's someone that's going to dash something through the window? What if someone barges in? I have these thoughts in my head whilst I'm praying. What if someone walks in right now and starts shooting people? These are thoughts that I've been having for years.
And the fact that we think it's normal is the problem. And I'm glad that you've expressed yourself, because I think right now a lot of people are quite silenced from this, and not in a negative way, but in the fact that they're actually shocked. They're like, wow, this has happened in New Zealand. And you never really hear much about terrorist attacks or some dumb shit going on in New Zealand. I mean, there's always going to be some sort of racist geezer roaming the streets, but the fact that something like this has happened in a community, it looks like a very small community as well. It's shocking because no one's really said anything about it in the UK that.
That's
other than
exactly what I wanted to say.
Small little other communities.
Yeah.
What has the government actually said about this? Nothing.
Do you know what? I think I'm at a stage now where I'm done protesting. I'm done complaining. I'm done being angry. I'm done being upset, and I'm done pointing fingers. I know now that we are at a stage where it's too late to do anything about it. It is too late to reverse, go back. It is too late to start mending the cracks. We have laid the foundations, and now we will watch it manifest itself, as harsh as that sounds.
I mean, I know what you mean, because let's be honest, this isn't the first attack that's happened to Muslims. I mean, there's loads of things that are happening right now. The concentration camps in China. These are attacks that are happening to Muslim people, and certain media outlets are covering it, but really and truly, it's got to a point where people have just accepted it. My mom's in Somalia right now, and I don't think she even has an idea that these concentration camps are happening in China to these Muslim peoples. It's got to a point where so many things have been happening that it's not alarming no more. Like I said, we've accepted it, and that is really sad. And I look at these, these multi-million, not even million, billion, fucking, basically Facebook.
Yeah.
And there are groups on there where these people are actually expressing their hate, and Facebook is making enough money to monitor these things.
Yes.
Let's be honest. And this person, as far as I'm aware,
he was radicalized.
They have a following.
Yeah, of course they do.
And I want to know now, and I want people to investigate who has helped this person do this attack. That's what I want to know, because he clearly, apparently, he's been traveling for the last 7 years.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
Blah blah blah. He's went to Pakistan. He went here. He went there. Cool. That's fine. But why is it that he's gone to? Why did he even go to Pakistan in the first place? Why don't we know these things? And I'm just starting to think, why he went to Turkey as well.
He went to Turkey as well.
Why did he go to Turkey as well? Why are people not questioning these things? I mean, they're putting, they've taken him to court. They've covered his face. I don't know why they're fucking covered his face.
Why did you cover his face? He's already shown his face to the world.
Yeah, he already posted his shit on Facebook.
Yeah.
So he should be, his face should be embarrassed.
Furthermore,
because right now, they're talking about the fact that they don't want to give him any basically clout. But
Don't
he's
put
got
it-
clout
Bruv,
already.
don't cover his court case then. Don't even go there.
Yeah, it's
Straight
true.
up.
And to be honest, I appreciate what the Prime Minister has done in New Zealand.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I give her a lot of ratings.
Yeah, and I think she's done what she could. She's
Yeah.
put, she's gone to the communities. She's actually making changes to
Yeah.
kind of how you purchase weapons and
Mhm.
putting all these bans in place. Things that America fails to do till today, after all these attacks that they've been dealing with.
Well, some of his fans were Donald Trump, and also it was one of the Darren Osborne. You know, the guy who ran over Muslims in Finsbury Park. So he mentioned these individuals in his what do they call it? In his 70-page manifesto. I didn't even read the manifesto.
I mean, I
to be
tried
honest,
to find it, but to be honest, the internet
care.
has really controlled what is being kind of published about this guy.
Yeah. Yes.
Like even today, I was trying to research a lot of things, and it's quite generic.
Yeah.
There's no like even on 8chain and all this stuff. I tried to even Google stuff about that, and I couldn't really find much information. And even the video, I couldn't find it. I mean, I don't want to see it, but I was like, okay, let me just see where it's saved. I couldn't access it.
Yeah. They've been taking it down. I know there's a clear agenda in trying to save his face, because they don't want to demonize him too much.
I mean,
because he's white at the end of the day.
No, I don't think it's that. I think they just don't know how to deal with this right now, because I think a lot of people have now realized, like, shit, it is, like you said, it is a little bit too late. And the fact that one person can do this alone, I don't believe.
No, of course not.
I want to know who's supporting it. And that, as a Muslim person, I want to know. And I want, if they're going to carry out justice, I want the people that are behind him and supporting him to come to be brought forward, and I want people to shine a light on that, because he can't have done this by himself. Absolutely not. It doesn't make sense.
What's more scary is that in the last few years, we've really been beginning to see people's true opinions, concerns, quote unquote concerns about Muslims, about Islam, being thrown out there openly, very
especially politicians.
Especially, I don't know if you've ever went to Speaker's Corner.
Yeah,
I used to go to Speaker's Corner quite a lot.
Really?
I used to love going there.
Okay.
This was back in the days before it turned crazy.
Yeah.
This was back when people were really having meaningful conversations. I loved it. I thrived off it. It was great for my mind because it helped me,
100% understand people's cultures, religions.
Yes. And up until recently, I stopped going completely because all of these, barbaric right-wing people started to come in and started to address stupid things that made no sense. So I really fully realised in Speaker's Corner what kind of world we're living in.
Yeah.
Especially when
and
people...
how easily brainwashed people are.
Yes.
And the fact that the powerful people are the ones that are actually...
manipulating them.
Yeah, and it's like a bit like, them shows where they have those toys and it's being controlled by the hand.
Puppets.
Literally, puppets.
Puppets,
exactly.
yeah.
And that's how they're treating humans now. They're treating them as if they're puppets. He's a puppet.
Yeah, he is a puppet. And the funny thing is about all of this is that this isn't it. There's going to be a lot more. So now that this has happened, the right-wing extremists are going to feel a lot more confident in carrying out another attack. It's going to, because now that he's set the foundations. I mean, do you remember what happened in Norway?
Remind me.
In Norway, there's this guy, I forgot his name, Andres Breivik or something like that. He did a very similar attack. Not to Muslims, but to young Norwegian people. Youngsters. So they have a summer camp that happens every year. Youngsters go to this island and they,
just vibes,
right? But it's like a more of an educational kind of camp. So this guy, Andrei Vreibik, I don't know, something like that. He sets off to this camp, and to intend
Basically, he wanted to kill.
Yeah. So he went over. He had like heavy armory, all of these guns and shit, and he started shooting all of these youngsters, all of these young people. He killed quite a lot, and then the next day or whatever, he released his manifesto, similar manifesto to his one. He appeared in court, and his court case was very, very public. It was very highly publicized. He used it as a platform to promote what he was standing for and his individual profile. So
can you put the heater on?
Heater? He cold?
Yeah, fam.
Really?
Freezing.
So yeah, he was a nasty piece of work, and this attack is so similar to what happened today. Like, you can draw the comparisons. So I feel like now we're at a position where something like this is going to happen again. It's a trend. It's going to happen again. And I don't know what I'm worried more about, the fact that it's going to happen again, or the fact that people don't really care that it's going to happen again.
But then, I mean, I'm worried because just the same way as this guy is, a white man who has been radicalized, I think that's the best way to describe it, and he's obviously been brainwashed. What makes people think that this won't now cause a domino effect amongst people that might identify themselves as Muslims? These people are hurting too. What will happen then? If a Muslim man goes into a church and shoots people up, what do we do then? What's the answer then? I mean, that's what really worries me, because
nothing phases me anymore. Like, I'm past the point of being surprised by what anyone said. And this morning, actually, I watched a video. This guy called Sarah, he used to speak Scotland quite a lot. He's a black British man, and he was talking about this whole situation, and he was saying how, if you identify yourself, or if you are somehow connected to a I think he used the words as destructive cult or violent cult, don't be surprised when something like this happens.
100%.
So,
another reporter said that today, actually.
Yeah, but he was making the case for the attacker. So he was saying, because these Muslims are part of Islam, this was always going to happen, because Islam is a violent death cult.
Wow.
And I saw that this morning, and I was like,
wow,
it doesn't faze me anymore. Like, I'm not surprised.
And what worries me is that the internet allows this sort of information to be shared within minutes, within seconds. Like, just the same way he told everyone in 8chan. This is the where he broadcasted the Facebook link.
Yeah.
And then that's where he got all his followers from. That's where I think that's how I've interpreted it, anyways. And what's scary is that he's posted this link, and all these people have followed it, and that's where they've captured, the videos and so on. And then boom, now it's out there. It can, as much as Facebook and Twitter and YouTube wanna take back what's been posted, it's always gonna be on the internet. And it's the same way as just these hate kind of like speeches, these politicians, like that kid that egged the politician.
Bravo.
I mean, bravo, but like, now it's going to teach other people you can egg a politician. It's not really, there's no end to this. But the only thing that I can say is that I'm glad that we're having this conversation, and I'm glad people like yourself and people like me as an individual, that I can actually have a conversation and be like, this is how I feel, because I wouldn't have spoken about it. And I've been with people since Friday, and no one's spoken about it in my household. We've just accepted it. And I think we wrote so many notes that what we wanted to talk about, but I think the only thing that we can say is that
how do you feel about yourself now that this has happened? How do you feel the moment that you found out
this happened?
The moment that this happened, and you've realized that something like this has happened to your community, how does that make you feel as an individual?
Shall I be very honest?
Public and getting along with
the rest,
your community and society? Yeah.
To be honest, when I found out about this, I just said to myself, I need to become a better person. I need to become a better Muslim. And I was like, I don't want to die the way I'm in. And I want to be living my life in a way where I'm fulfilling like my rights as a Muslim and as a human being, as a, you know, as a British person, as a Somali, as a friend, as a sister, an auntie. I just want to be a better person because this can be me. And I'm just like, as crazy as it sounds, I'm like, at least they died in a mosque, and not on the street. And at least they didn't at least they didn't die in a park, or at least they didn't die in somewhere in a stupid place. At least they died in a house of God. I mean, that's fucked, but that's literally how I thought. I'm like, rah, this can be me. So let me pat myself so this can happen anytime. And I'm a bit, I'd say I'm wearing trousers round, you know, a baggy jumper, whatever, a baggy jacket. I'm wearing a bandana and all these things. But my sisters and my brothers and like my nieces and my nephews, they're grown up in the time, especially my nieces and nephews who are younger than me. They're grown up in the time where they're like, rah, this is what Islam is being portrayed as. And I'm not going to speak for them, but I really don't know how confident they are to maneuver in the world freely now. Yeah,
I'm glad you brought that point up.
What do we do with our kids?
Well, look,
I mean, I don't have any, but
this is the thing.
Turn off the heater now.
Turn off, yeah? This is the thing, right? So throughout my whole life, I have educated myself, and throughout my life experiences, I've taught myself that I need to behave in a particular way in order to be accepted
100%.
by society. Because being a brown-skinned Asian Muslim, I fall at the lows of the low when it comes to being accepted in society, right? So throughout my whole life, I have understood that I need to behave in a certain way towards people. I need to build a certain image so that I'm not discriminated against, and that I'm not attacked, or I don't have any conflicts with anyone else. You know what I mean?
100%.
So I can confidently say, sitting here, that I am probably one of the most well-mannered, well-spoken, what other word? I'm an all-rounded good human being. But do you know what it is? Let me tell you something. That's not me. That's who I have built myself to be, because I know I have to be that person. When I'm in society, when I'm talking to someone, for example, if I'm in my place of work, or if I come across another human being that I don't know, I need to put up that character. I need to put up that well-informed, well-mannered individual who
speak proper English, pronounce your words right. You
all
don't
of that
want
stuff.
to be perceived a certain way.
Yes, because I know at the back of my head I'm Muslim, and therefore if I behave the way I usually behave, people are going to look at me and say he's a Muslim.
How do you usually behave?
How do I usually behave? Like I said, I'm very, very well spoken. I'm very well mannered. I'm kind. I'm generous. I'm describing myself the way I am because that's the way I've taught myself to be. But that's not who I am. That's just the person I know I have to be in order to be accepted. Does that make sense?
So would you say obviously
you know who I am, or you get a good sense of who I am. I'm loud, I'm boisterous, I'm confident, I talk a lot of shit, I overtalk sometimes. Do you know what I mean? That's me. That's me. But to anyone else, that's not me. I'm a reserved, quiet, speak only when I'm spoken to, morally correct. Do you know what I mean? All of this. But that's not me. And do you know, after this attack now, like, I'm fully done. I'm done being that guy. There's no point. What's the point of me putting this image on for people who don't really give a shit about me? Let's be honest.
I mean, the thing is, the way I've interpreted our religion is that, I mean, you know, Muslims have, for a very long time, have been dealing with this for so many years.
Yes.
And it's one of those things is that at least we can look at our religion and be like, okay, well, you know what, we have the prophets, and we have people, in our religion that have experienced negative things and they've always remained positive.
Mm.
And I think we can't live our lives thinking about this stuff. We can't live in fear.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll rather you be a kind person, not too reserved, definitely not, but continue to be kind for sure. Continue to be open-minded, but I think you should try to educate people as you go along. And even if it means it's not the right time or place, just making certain comments, it will really wake people up. And yeah, just I think we just need to continue having these conversations, continue to create a community. As you have probably non-Muslim friends anyways.
No,
and just continue her.
I don't.
Wow, okay.
It's gotten to a point where I don't have friends. I'm scared to make friends, you know.
Really?
Big man things I am. I can't make friends with non-Muslim friends because I don't know how I'm going to be treated by them.
For me, it's I've always found it not a challenge, but my mum has really pushed me out there. I realize. I think you've realized I talk about my mum a lot.
Yeah, no, it's good though. I really like that.
Yeah,
I really like the fact that you've got that relationship with your mum.
Yeah, my mum, you know, she came from Somalia and she really pushed us to get to know the culture and to like adapt to people, understand how they work, just so we're not excluded and that we're not fearful of society. Although it's been hard, now I've been working where I work. I work in an office. There's quite a lot of white people. I mean, there are people that are that are not white, but I feel confident to turn around and be like, I know who I am. I went to a majority all white school. Majority of the people that went to that school, middle class background, and they're just like me. They eat, they shit, they do the same things just as me. So when people talk about being an activist and being this and being that, I literally am a single-handed person who is gonna create this community just the same way we're doing. And you need to think like that. You need to think, okay, do you know what? I know I'm a Muslim. I need to focus on my within, but at the same time, I'm not gonna stop talking about my religion. I'm not gonna stop talking about what I want. If you're not gonna respect my religion and you're not gonna respect who I am, then you're not my friend. Do you know what I mean? And I've gone into situations where I am the only Muslim person, the only black person, the only girl sometimes, and people will make some fucked up comments, but it doesn't matter because you have to turn around and be like, I'm sorry, I didn't appreciate that. If you don't do that, who else is gonna do it? Who's gonna do it for your kids?
Well, that's the thing. Like today, I was literally thinking, this is so weird that I say this, but I was having a shower and I was thinking to myself, fam, am I really gonna have kids? Because I don't know if I'm gonna have kids. Because I've been having this conflicting sort of argument in my head for the last year or so.
I said, am I gonna have kids?
I don't know if I want to bring kids into this world. Oh yeah, I remember why. Because my parents basically have fucked up my bedroom. They've just. This is a story for another day.
My parents fucked up the bedroom that they're paying for. Okay, carry on. Look at this.
First world problems, innit?
Innit? What?
I'll speak about this next week, but they've divided my room into some. I'll talk about this next week, innit? Basically, they've made 2 rooms into one just in case I have kids, so then the kids can sleep in the other room. But these times, I don't even know if I want to have kids or not.
But why would you want to stay at mum's house when you have kids? You Bengalis are weird like that, you know.
No, but do you know what?
The whole community will stay in one yard. What's this? What? No, I don't understand.
My parents are mad shook to get rid of me, man.
Why?
Do you know what it is? Because I'm the oldest and...
you do everything for them.
I do everything for them, but also when they get old and when they need someone there for them, they're gonna be looking at me
100%,
and I want to be there for them.
Of course,
I want to make sure that I'm there for my parents.
But don't suffocate me now, sis.
What's that?
Don't suffocate me now.
Trust me,
because you're just gonna make me run.
That's what I'm saying. So I was like,
let me enjoy my baby boy life.
Cause I had this really nice planned out room. I made a plan on my phone. Do you want me to show you my plan that I made on my phone?
Absolutely.
Cuz, I'm not joking when I say that I went in on this plan, you know.
You keep saying cuz today a lot, innit?
Sorry. Look
Who
at this.
You been around?
This is
wow.
It's mad, right?
What app is this?
This is it's sick. It's called Planner 5D. Mad thing. You can create anything, any room you want.
Okay, that's sick.
So I went in on this room, and then they put a fucking wall right down the middle of it. And I'm thinking to myself,
with their chest. I think it just.
I discovered this yesterday, innit? When I went home.
Is it all there now?
Yeah, still there. So I walked upstairs, yeah, and I was mad excited. I always get excited when I go home because I want to see what progress the builders have made.
Yeah.
Walking upstairs, yeah, I look around like my face dropped. They're asleep in it, so I can't even go downstairs and have a word. I'm pissed. I'm looking at the room. I'm just thinking, what have they done? They've put a wall in the middle. They've divided 2 rooms. Why? It's in the loft, innit? It's right at the top.
So why would you want your kids to be in the loft anyways?
I mean, I've been asking
I don't
these
think
questions.
that's the case. I think they're hiding something.
What are they hiding?
That spare room is for something else.
Go on.
I don't know, but it's for something else.
Probably my mum's saucepans, innit? I'm going
No,
ham if anything
it's
comes.
probably gonna be it might be a study room, it might be a guest room. I don't know.
Listen, I'll update you guys next
let's
week
find
with
out.
what's happening in this room.
You need to be at home more. That's what happens, you know.
You
need to be at home more.
I do need to be at home more. These times I'm only at home like 2-3 hours.
Yeah. You're treating it like it's a hotel. No, that's what happens. Can't complain.
No, but I did speak to my dad, he came into my room today and he was like, oh, so what do you think upstairs? And I was like, yeah, it's good. I was like really blunt with him. I was like, yeah, it's good. And he was like, why don't you come with me and we can talk about, the space and stuff. I was like, no, I don't need to. It's good. I've already seen upstairs. No,
see, you don't have they don't need to approach it like that.
They don't need to, innit?
What you need to do is you need to sit them down.
Yeah.
It's let me chat to you.
Yeah.
We need to talk about what you did.
Yes,
and the fact that you didn't consult me.
That's what I'm saying, yo.
Don't ever answer. I don't know. This is for me, innit?
Yeah.
I don't ever answer questions like
Just
that.
me.
Why are you trying to get me to say yes? It's
listen. But I said it, yeah.
That's forceful.
Listen,
that's brilliant.
I said it, yeah, but he knew it. He knew I was pissed, and then he was like, "Oh, are you sure you're alright? I mean, I can tell that you're upset." And I was like, "No, I'm fine. I'm good. Like, the room is fine, alright." 10 minutes later, I hear him on the phone to the builder like, yo, can you come over? I want to talk about potentially increasing the room or the size of the room because I think it's too small. So he comes over and then I had a word with the builder. Why did he talk to you
before that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, this all could have been avoided.
Yeah.
And these times,
you could have done it later on in the lifetime.
But a week ago, I'm talking to the builder. I'm like, can you please let me know before you divide the room? He's like, yes, don't worry. I'm going to speak to you before we do it. You can choose how you want to do it. Come upstairs yesterday and it's all done. I'm just like...
It's a little weird.
Fam.
Does it look weird?
It does look a bit weird. Like, there's literally, you walk up the stairs and then room A on this side, room B on this side. And it's like quite narrow. It's still big. It's decent size. But like, being me in it, I want to live comfortably.
Yeah,
I want a nice room. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it's not even that. Look, I hope we don't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with living with your parents, obviously,
yeah.
when you have kids. But don't allow them to set it up like that.
Yeah, no, long. I'm not gonna have kids, and if I do have kids, they're not gonna need their own room until for around 10 years.
Listen, it says I said in Somali that the sky is open, as in the prayers can be accepted. Take that back. It's turning dark. It's becoming Maghrib soon. You know, the third prayer is coming. You know, don't do them things there.
Straight up, man.
So you can have kids.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
If you want to have kids, you can have kids. If you don't want to have kids, you don't want to have kids. It is up to you. You can adopt whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, they could have just done it later on. But that's a discussion that you need to have with your padre.
So many more problems are gonna come up with this.
It's fine. It happens. It's their house in the end of the day.
I know. That's what I thought today. I said, if they say anything, I'll just say to them, look, it's your house. You do it however you want. These times, I was like to them, yeah, don't worry. I'm going to contribute everything towards my room. Today, I was going to say to them, I ain't putting a single penny under this roof, you know?
Absolutely not.
I ain't putting a single penny under this roof. You don't want to do anything? You do it with your own money, fam.
That makes sense. Because they can't...
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
You can't expect people to... This is what... So many parents do.
Yeah.
They fuck up.
Yeah.
Or they do something and then they expect you to pay for it after. And you're like, nah, you know, you done that too many times. But anyways, we're going off topic.
Yeah.
And I think we're just gonna end it.
Yeah, man.
This on a lighter note. And I think it's been a good podcast.
Yes, we did end it on a lighter note. I was so glad we did.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed this once again. This has been a great episode. We've talked about something which is really important, and I think we've consoled ourselves and we've come to some sort of a conclusion about what's happened and where we are.
We just want people to come forward and to connect with us.
Yes.
And
I think one thing that's come out of this, which I was really, really happy to see, is that the community coming together 100%. And really, being one. Like, I saw a bunch of Muslim boys today and I smiled at them. I smiled at them because I want us to have that connection.
Yeah, facts.
I want everyone to be strong and firm together, because if we're not strong and if we're not together, then no one else is going to have our back. No one else is going to give us that backbone that we need.
Yeah, no one's gonna know how to help us.
Yeah, exactly.
Because not all people, not everyone is uneducated like that. Not everyone is stupid, and a lot of people, they do care about how we feel. So if we don't turn around and tell them how we feel, they're gonna never know
exactly
how to help us. But on that note, I think people should comment on our stuff.
Are you gonna do the goodbye? Yeah. Go on,
No,
you do the
you
goodbye.
can
Let me
do
see how you do the goodbye, because I keep doing it.
No, you can do it.
No, honestly, you do it.
No, ladies
No,
first.
go on, you do it.
All right then, cool. Well, guys, you can. I don't know what to say now.
No, man, do
You're
it, man.
putting bad pressure on me. Look away. Look at the
Alright,
window.
fine, say no more. I ain't gonna look at you. I'll look at my phone.
Guys, I'm gonna plug us in. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Do we have Facebook?
We do have a Facebook page, yes.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, Spotify. What else? And Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
So it's Podcast Tomato.
So our Instagram and Twitter is actually at Podcast Tomato,
Okay.
and Facebook is Tomato Podcast, YouTube Tomato Podcast, SoundCloud Tomato Podcast.
Yeah.
It's just Facebook. No, it's just Instagram and Twitter.
Cool.
So
All right then. We'll see you next week.
Listen, it doesn't cost you a penny. Do you know what I mean? Don't need to donate anything.
Yeah, just like
Just
the
do
thing,
it,
bro,
fam.
and share it.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
It's not that deep. If you share it with 10 people,
we're
like you said,
we'll be making 10 racks soon. So you'll be helping fill our
Jeez.
pockets.
we'll be helping the community.
Done though. All right. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back with episode 30 next week.
Boop, boop.
Safe. Bye.